Welcome to the Chosen Change podcast. I'm Josh, here with my brother Rob. We got another special guest today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
And my name is Chris. I go by Game Pass Media, and I'm here to tell my story.
We're excited to have you, bro. I know I've seen your podcast, and I've known you for a long time, and I know we've been messaging back and forth, supporting each other's podcasts, and I told Josh about you, and I'm like, he has an amazing testimony. I don't know much about your life prior, but this has given us an opportunity to tap in and tell everybody what you've gone through and what you're up to today. So
yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys having me on. I've been following you guys' podcast since the beginning, and it's funny because you guys will say things, and I'll message you right after, like, hey, bro, like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
What you guys is going on, man. I truly like it, and I rock with it. So
appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I've seen you on social media, never met you, so it's a pleasure to meet you and try to hear your story. I know we shared a little bit, so just get into the similarities and see what messages we have for the people today.
First thing we want to talk about is kind of your childhood, your upbringing. That gives us kind of the whole scenario of how you were molded. So if you can dive into that, we'd appreciate that.
Yeah. So my upbringing, you know, for the longest time, it was just normal. I came from a good home, from a good parents. I had both parents in the household.
Are you from here?
No, I'm originally from East Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
I moved out here when I was 29.
Got you.
So I've been out here for quite some time, but we'll get into it. But I've been coming to New Mexico off and on for like the past 30 years. Cause my mom moved out here when I was in high school. So we'll get into all that. But I kind of knew New Mexico. But yeah, growing up in East LA, I came from average family. Everything was good. Grew up playing sports, loving sports. My dad was, you know, my mom had a great job. My dad had a great job, and my grandparents, which is my mom's mom, they're real big believers. They ran a Christian recovery home for a ministry called Victory Outreach. They were one of the first. They were one of the first home directors for that Christian ministry. And long story short, man, life was good until it wasn't. Around probably like when I turned 10, 11, things really shifted. I know it's a lot more arguing in our house, and back in the day, like, I didn't really know what was going on, but like my mom would be at work, and I see like my parents' friends, so mutual friends, right? My mom and my dad had mutual friends, and like their friends would come over when my mom was at work. Now I didn't think nothing of it. It was just like all bet, like homies, like now that I'm older, just homies hanging out. But my dad was like having some like little links and stuff like that, and then life just kind of went crazy, man. I kind of spiraled. I had a real crazy and dysfunctional childhood, like after the age of 10 and 11.
What do you think was like the pivot that, is it your dad was the one that pretty much had the change, right? Now your mom remained the same?
Well, what happened was they got introduced to Coke.
Got it.
And then they went from doing Coke to like, my dad started tapping into like meth, which is a big thing in California.
One small thing leads to trying anything.
Yeah,
right?
and that just spiraled him, man. Like being the head of the household, being like the main like financial provider, and all, like when he lost it, my mom kind of followed suit. Like she didn't, you know what I'm saying? She was in life. She was,
most people do.
Yeah, she wasn't led, right? Or she wasn't led, and she kind of spiraled, and both parents kind of spiraled out of control. And yeah, that's kind of where that was like the pivot of like everything when they got introduced to methamphetamines, and that's where everything just went haywire. So up until then, it was really cool. It was really good. Like I was like back before Jordans were popping. Like I had like the Griffies. I don't know if you remember like the Griffies.
Oh yeah.
And I was like the kid with the Griffies, with the fresh, everything. You name it, I had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when all the drugs got introduced to the family, man, to the household, and that my dad didn't like chop it off, it just went crazy.
Were they able to maintain their jobs and still like function in life, or was things just slowly falling off?
No, things slowly started falling off. My dad was my dad was like the breadwinner, and my mom made really good money too. But my mom worked for the mailing house, which is like I believe it's for like the main like postal company in California. But she got into like, that was her thing. She got into like fraud and identity theft. So she started like getting like credit cards and stuff in other people's names. And then because my dad had lost his job, so she was just trying to like
make ends meet.
You know, and then my dad was just worried about partying, and we weren't even like a neighborhood family. Like my mom has like all the gang members come from my mom's side of the family, and my dad's side of the family was like kind of chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but doing the drugs, it led all that culture into our family, because now my dad's on the street, he's partying, you know how that goes.
Did you have siblings?
I had two sisters.
Okay, younger.
Yes, two younger sisters.
Oh, okay, so you were kind of playing father to them while everything was going on around you.
Kind of like I didn't even know what a father figure was. So like getting older, I didn't really understand like what a father figure was. So I tried to play father figure to my sister, but I wasn't doing it in a loving manner. I was more like hood, like no, like you're not gonna do that, like just thugging out, like treat my sisters like my homies. You know what I mean? And so so I tried to, but I wasn't really in the right state of mind to like lead like that, lead as a man, as a young man, because I didn't even know what it was. I didn't even know what a man looked like.
I can relate to that because although my dad wasn't a bad person, there wasn't a standard he set that I could like abide by. So it was kind of like learn on the fly, and you don't realize until you make mistakes of what you could have done better. So it's hard to have an example in your life to really look at and have okay, this is how you do things,
Right.
So the figuring out method is like you just waste so much time trying to figure.
Yeah, because it got to the point where I started getting older. So now I'm like in 7th grade, 8th grade, right? I'm getting a little older. I'm getting a little more size to me. I'm was raised by my grandparents basically because my mom lost her mom, which is my grandmother who ran the Christian recovery home. And when my mom lost her, my mom didn't have nobody. So when my mom and my dad started fighting, we lost our house. I mean, we lost it. We had houses, cars, everything. We lost all that. Moved into a 2-bedroom house with like 13 people.
That's crazy.
Like, you know what I mean? So you're talking about like me, my mom, my dad, my 2 sisters, my cousins, their mom, like just and it's real drug infested.
So would you say probably was that like a 4-year, 5-year span, your life went from this, it was amazing, to just crashing down, and you're like,
yeah.
So like what were like what was the thought process in that moment? Because I'm sure you could probably remember there was one time in your room where you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
How did we get here? You know what I mean? Like,
so living in East LA, like even if you're not from the gang, like you're gang affiliated.
yeah.
Like you go to that school, like you're affiliated. Like there's just no way around it. And unfortunately for me, I wasn't involved with sports. So obviously, like when you're like involved with sports, everybody. So having said all that, when my dad and my mom kind of fell off and lost everything, I kind of turned to the streets because my dad was already involved in the streets. Like my dad wasn't a gang member, but he was like the guy out there. He was a cool guy. He was a cool guy. He would bring people to my grandma's house. Now they're partying at my grandma's house. Not even our house no more. They're at my grandma's house. And they're doing drugs, and he's bringing all that drama to my grandma's house. You know what I mean? So I've always been around it. So I turned to the streets. Like I found comfort in the neighborhood because they be oh, that's little Claudio, and I bet probably don't call me little Claudio.
Yeah,
because I don't even respect
not a reputation you wanted to.
And don't get me wrong, I love my dad. I truly do. I hated him for the longest, but now I love him. I found that love for him again. But when we were younger, watching all the domestic violence going on, and like my mom always getting like the bad end of everything, it really made me like, F this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's up, bro? So it got to the point where I started physically like defending my mom. And then he would just whip on me, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was young. So he would just like, so I would take lumps. So
There's just that pride.
yeah. But then on top of that, what that taught me was like, I could fight grown men. Right. Because I was fighting my dad, right? My dad was...
he was tough and you were hanging with him.
Yeah. So that led into the streets. So that led into like me just being angry all the time and always wanting to fight. And if anyone said anything, it was like, "What's up?" Like
it was tough.
I was on site. Like I didn't even, you know what I mean? I was just ready to go, and it was just real dysfunctional.
So let's fast forward to like 18. Where are you at 18 years old?
At 18 years old, at 18 years old, I'm still in California. My mom, my high school, my mom moved out here already when I was like 16, 17. She moved out to New Mexico. She actually got caught up out here in New Mexico.
Oh, so she dipped out here.
She dipped out here, yeah. So this is, now that I'm older and I realize what was going on, I remember one day just with all the craziness going on in my life, I told, my mom was living in a van, literally outside my grandma's house because she got kicked out of my grandma's house.
Jeez.
And she didn't want to move too far from us. So she lived in a van. And the street we lived on was called Vaquero, but she lived in a van and the neighborhood was calling it Vancaro. Because like my mom lived, but my mom was like good though. My mom was like one of those girls I was like,
yeah.
Like now my mom's full blown involved in the hood.
Yeah.
So long story short, she gets caught up in the hood and she started getting involved in trafficking now. Like now she's like, now she's not, he's like dope dealing. And she gets into some trouble, man, and she ends up on the run. She's like, I got to get out of here. But before she ended up on the run, I remember laying back in my uncle's bedroom saying, God, if you're real, like save my mom, like get her out of here. And then like literally thinking back on it now, like 3 weeks later, she was on the run going to, I think, like the East Coast. She stopped off right here in Sandia and got caught up in here in New Mexico. And this is where she's been ever since. Like, so that's how my mom ended up out here.
And that's how you ended up out here.
And that's kind of how I ended up out here, because I didn't move out here right then and there, but I would always visit New Mexico when she was in the home. And then she ended up in the same recovery home that my grandparents ran. They ended up having one out here.
Yeah, my mom has been there as well. So that's why whenever you said Victory Outreach.
Your mom was a VO?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So thank God for like a ministry like Victory Outreach, right? Like, I mean, people have their opinions about any ministry, but I mean,
it's how people. It helps out. So mom's here, you're there. Is dad with you, or dad's just around?
So that's where the dysfunction started. That's where the real dysfunction started, because my mom was out here. And I was raised really with my grandparents. My dad was in the house, but my grandparents were doing the raising.
Makes sense.
My dad was just running. He was just in and out. We wouldn't see my dad for 4 weeks. Yeah, he was on the street. He was just doing his thing. But at that time, now I'm older, and I'm like, now I'm serving, and I'm selling, and I'm gangbanging, and I'm doing all the craziness. You know what I mean? And yeah, like I was selling to my dad. Like, he was one of my best customers. I was like, well, if he's gonna do dope, like
I might as well be the one.
I might as well get the money, like you know what I mean. And I had no respect for him, like no respect. We grew up fighting. Always, me and him were always throwing. We were always just gaining.
I mean, just the fact of knowing that you were selling to your father, knowing like if something were bad to happen, you already knew like it is what it is. Like, you've done so much bad to me, made me feel some type of way. Like, I might as well profit from the situation currently, and then we'll figure it out later. Right. I'm sure there's a love there.
No, yeah,
there's always like, you know what? If it's hit me, hit you back, right?
Well, my hope was really for my dad to get it together, because when he wasn't on drugs, he was a good dude. Like, he's a solid guy, of course, super solid, but he never got it together. You know?
Yeah.
So that was my hope, was like he would get it together, but if he didn't, it was just like, well, I've been doing this very new. Yeah. I've been in it for the past 10 years already.
Yeah.
You know, and like my dad was just that guy about the gangbanging, and my dad be coming by and be like, oh, look at that tweaker. Oh, bro, it's your dad. And I'm like, no, my God. I'm like, there's no way, dog. Like, what's to say, like, bro, like, embarrassing. But then, like, I was legit, like, I was solid. I was always down with it, like.
Yeah,
like, you know, I never like so
you were more of like an organized, structured drug dealer. You weren't taking it. You were just selling it.
I was selling it. I never did it because I saw my dad. My mom do it. I was like, bro, like, I can make money off this bomb.
Yeah,
I'm definitely not gonna be a user. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna do it because I seen what it does for.
Yeah, I think most people, like, it's either half and half. Like, for me, my dad did drugs and he died of a drug overdose, and the blessing in that was I never have done drugs because of my awareness of him dying. Why would I try it knowing that trauma that brought in my life? So I think that, you know, God puts it on certain people to like never do drugs, because I'm an addictive personality. If I were to try anything, especially drugs, I don't know if I would like them. And if I did, I'd go full blown.
So you know, and I'm like that. I'd like them because there's certain things that I've tried. I'm like,
right.
Like, you've also caught myself in the middle of like the high, and I'm like,
no, see,
I know why I'm like, no, like, this is,
I want to go back. I always did.
Besides weed, and like weed in high school was like we're talking like brick weed, like bad weed. We're not talking like the stuff where you could go in the store and pick your flavors and however they do it now. This is back in the OG days. So when I tried it 3 times in my life, never liked it. Never did nothing for me. Didn't make me feel any type of way that was good. So I've never had experience of where I've tried something, liked it, and then they're like, nope, I'm not going to do it, because I think it'd be hard for me to not want to do it again.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I've done a small amount of it, but I've been able to, like, in the middle of it, I'm like, what are you, like, this is too good. Like,
that's crazy.
You're going to throw everything away. You know what I mean? I was like 18, 19.
Still, and now you don't forget the feeling.
Well, because in my mind, I was also like, I would just like, it was weird, but like my mom would pop in my head and be like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can see that.
Like, I don't want to be like that.
I wouldn't want to be like, if I did, like, at some point in my previous life, take something and then think of like my dad passing, like that'd be a weird trip.
Dude, no, it was.
Like, I could see how that would be like
that
hard to do it.
Yeah.
And I was also like, no.
So it's funny because like a lot of people don't know, like you used to have a pretty successful podcast, and like the Game Pass video stuff was pretty cool. And a lot of people don't really know like the whole story of like of who I am.
Yeah, and that's why we wanted you on, because I
when people see like Game Pass, they think of like, oh, but man, like my
guy got it all figured out.
Yeah, no, bro. I didn't for the longest, and So I watched my dad, which is crazy because I watched my dad and my mom do meth, right? Like, destroy their life. And I started smoking a lot of weed. And I was like, weed's not a gate. Like, weed, whatever. Just keep bud, just get the giggles, laugh, chill. But then I got introduced, my uncle, which is my dad's brother, started smoking crack. That's my godfather. And when he started smoking crack, I saw the way he was getting. I was like, what the heck? Like, he looks kind of crazy.
Like, that's not more than a little high.
Yeah, that's like, he's on like a whole nother level. And one day I met this girl, and she was like, hey, you ever smoke a P-Dog? And I was like, what's a P-Dog? And she's like, well, it's cracking weed. And I was like, what? Like, let me try it. Like, so you mix the crack like with the weed, you know what I mean? And you smoke, bro. I took that first hit, and it was like mixed, and it was like, whoa. Like, I just sat on the couch like, this is crazy. Like, I love the feeling, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, I did. And then it went from like a little bit of crack and weed to like
more crack than weed.
Less weed. And then it just went to straight, like, when I knew I hit rock bottom, bro, like partying, like, cause I always looked fresh. I was like, always like, oh, I'm not a crack. You see crackheads and you see them like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But I always had a job. I had like, always had money. So I was like, oh, I'm not a crackhead. I always look fresh. But when I hit rock bottom in that game was when I was more concerned about smoking, and I was so high, I was burning my lip. With the pipe. And then I woke up in the morning, I had a big old blister, bro, on my lip. And I just, that was at that time where I was like, nah, bro, I'm not.
So
I'm all about female, because I was like, all the females and looking fresh. And I was
This your presentation?
you know, I was like, there's no way.
I've let myself get to this point.
I was like, yeah, and if I don't stop it, it's going to get worse.
Oh, yeah.
was there a moment like you kind of looked in the mirror? Because I'm sure you held resentment for your dad, right? And you're like, you had this animosity towards him, and then all of a sudden you're like, kind of like, dang, I'm kind of turning into him. Like I'm
Absolutely. I started acting like him. I started I started thinking like him. I started saying things like, you know what? I respect my dad, because at the end of the day, like, he's just living the way he wants to live. Like, and that's like, to me, that was like normal. Just do your own thing, right? Like, I'm gonna just do my own thing. I'm gonna live the way I want to live, and that's like me being a man. Like, I'm just gonna do it my way, and that's it. You know what I mean? So I started kind of I went from like hating him to like kind of respecting him.
You understood a little.
Yeah, I was like, well, I kind of get where he's coming from. Like, he lost his family, he lost this, and he just kept partying. So you know what? I kind of, but no, like, that was so far from the truth, you know?
Yeah.
And I just kind of started accepting, like, this is what it is. So we didn't even get into like all the thugging and all the gangbang, but you just know, like, when that, but you know, like, when all that stuff,
we have the picture of it. So
you know what goes.
yeah, so it goes on with that.
Mom's in New Mexico, dad's doing his thing, you're slanging to dad. Do you come out here, or do you meet first off, you're married.
Yes.
Did you get married in California? Or did you get married out here? Is she from there?
So my wife has been my sister's best friend since kindergarten. So my wife has been around our family.
Really?
Yeah, she's like a long.
So she's from Cali also.
Yeah, she grew up next. She's my next door neighbor.
That's a trip.
So my wife now seen like the guy I was before even dating me. Like, she saw my ex-girl, because my sister would be at the house. She seen me coming in and out with different. I had one girl go drop her off, come back with another girl. Right. You know, so my wife saw.
So she's seen every single phase.
When did you guys get together? How old were you when you guys, like, no, I mean, maybe not met or first, but actually relationship?
Yeah, like, started dating and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was working for a TV show. It was called Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Oh, I remember that show.
Yeah. So I used to travel with them from state to state.
Really?
Yeah. That was pretty cool. That was the best time. Like, I'm not saying now, but like, in that, like, from 10 to that point, that was the best time of my life, because I was away from the neighborhood. I was away from all my friends. I was hanging out with like different type of people. Like,
well,
but it still brought the same problems though. There's just rich people now, because now they're still doing their partying and doing.
You're just not in the hood.
I'm just not in the hood. So yeah, so I traveled with that show for like 4 years.
That's dope.
Where you guys go? I mean,
everywhere, all across it. I've been to every state twice, basically.
Yeah.
It just transferred different. And I came. I got back from Hawaii, and my sister was having a birthday party. And then I called my ex-girlfriend at the time. I was like, hey, my sister's having a party. Like, you want to go? And she's like, all right. And my ex-girlfriend had a kid and stuff like that. And I said, I had my kid. And I was like, who cares? You bring your kid. Like, whatever. You know what I mean? And we go to my sister's birthday party. And my wife now was there. We hadn't seen each other in like 3 years. Because, just traveling and just missing each other.
Life is happening.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, dang, like, is that Brenda? And now she's, I think, 18, 19, something like that. Like, I was like 23.
Brenda had a baby?
Yeah. I was like, hey, is that Brenda? Her sister's like, yeah. I'm like, yo, let me get her number. Like, so I started, trying to like, But my ex-girlfriend's with me though. So I go drop off my ex-girlfriend, go back home, and I'm kidding my sister like, yo, you still with Brenda? And just kind of, my sister just gave me my wife's number. My wife didn't want me to have her number.
I can see that.
And gave me the number. I just started bugging her, so to say, like just like, what are you doing? And one thing led to another. Just kind of started hanging out, and yeah, I've been with her ever since.
When did you guys get married?
We got married, man. We've been together 18 years. So we got married like I want to say 2007. No, like probably 2015.
When you moved out here,
yeah,
she came with you.
She did. I came out here first.
Yeah.
So what happened was I was getting in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And so at the time I was getting into a lot of trouble, she was like, I don't want to be one of those babies. We already had my son.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I was going in and out of jail. She's like, I don't want to be one of those baby mamas with like her baby's dad. Like, cause she's a good girl. My wife is a good girl. Like she was different. She came from the hood, but she got out of the hood. Like she got herself out quick. I stood there. You know what I mean?
Good girls, girls like bad guys, right?
So she was a good girl, man. And when we had my son, she was like, I don't want to be one of those baby mamas that always has like a baby daddy in and out of jail. Like, I was not going to do this. So at that time, my mom got diagnosed with cancer. So when my mom got diagnosed with cancer, I came out here a lot to visit, but then I still didn't move out here. It wasn't until after my mom kind of healed. My mom was married and stuff like that. And she was out here running the Christian recovery home still. So I couldn't really even like move in like that because she was in a home, you know? And long story short, man, we fast forward, I know for sure, I was 28 years old. Me and my girl, we weren't married, and 28 years old, I said, what do you think about moving to New Mexico with my mom? And she was just like, let's do it. And I was like, for real? So we came out here when I was 28. I came out here first. I was supposed to get a place. I didn't end up getting a place. I lived with my mom, and she just followed me like 2 months after. And she was like, she told me, if you go, she was give me some time and I'll go. She'll let me finish school, medical school and all that.
Yeah.
She'll give me some time and I'll go. And I was like, all right, well, if you don't go, like, you know what I'm saying? You don't go. Like, well, I'll just come back, but whatever. So yeah, she followed me out here and we've been out here ever since.
So you're in New Mexico. You kind of have a fresh start at life. You got your girl, your son is 3 at the time? Remember the older? 2.
He's 2.
You're probably feeling like, all right, now I'm on the right path, or I want to be on the right path and raise my kid and have my family. That young relationship that you guys had, what were your guys' thoughts? Did you guys have some goals, ambitions? Did you guys have like a little plan, or was it kind of just like stay out of trouble?
For me, it was just stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
But what happened was, it wasn't a very good relationship when we moved out here, because we were young and I was still like, I had motorcycles and I was partying. I was on my bike club, and you know what I mean? So that was
you're trying to find your way in a new state with a new people.
That's when I was in California.
Oh.
When I was in California, I was doing that. So I moved out here to get away from all that. So like our relationship was already not built on a good foundation. It was more like,
it's built on sand.
There was like a lot of untrust. There was no trust in the relationship. There was, a lot of bitterness and stuff like that. And so moving out here, that was supposed to be a good start, and then it got kind of bad out here too. Like more on my end. Like now I'm not getting in trouble. I'm not getting in trouble or anything like that. But now I'm like, man, the girls out here in New Mexico are like pretty. I'm just like super easy.
Well, then you don't know anybody.
I don't know anybody. Right. Yeah. So
they don't know you. They don't know your past.
I'm the new guy on the block. I'm fresh. I'm like, I was a lot younger. I was kind of built a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just like, yo, this is easy out here. So I started getting in trouble out here with like women.
With women and like that kind of. And,
yeah.
Obviously drug dealing and knowing your personality, it doesn't seem like it's very hard for you to sell or talk to people and get what you want.
Well, I could just tell you like if there's one thing I could say, like I was introduced to sex at a real young age, like that lifestyle at a
like that influence of like,
yes,
cool if you do it type thing.
Yeah. So like, not to get too crazy, but like I was having at the age of 16, 17, like full blown, like
that's crazy.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like motel at one time, and like, yeah, but I say all that to say, like, if you don't fix those things before getting into a marriage or into a relationship,
oh yeah,
you bring all that with you. Oh, and it's all just like, it's pure evil. Like, yeah. At the time when you're young, you're like, you think you're the man, and you're right. But if you don't fix those things from a child and you bring that stuff into your adulthood, your manhood, it's not a good transition.
Well,
You have to fix that stuff before even getting into a relationship.
yeah, and I think you mean a young audience is going to watch this because of your influence on the high school kind of age level, and I definitely want to tell them that when you do things prior to being married or whatever it is, you think that, well, I can do whatever I want. Once I get married, I'll chill out. What you don't understand is whatever you do up to that point is actually going to hurt the relationship because, one, they're going to want to know your past life. And if you haven't truly changed yourself, it's going to be hard for you to become that man in 24 hours and be like, okay, that was me yesterday, but today I'm ready to be your boyfriend. I'm going to be the man you need to be.
Exactly.
I think for young men, and these high school men and women, it's good to have a foundation, have a standard, respect your body, respect yourself, stay away from drugs and alcohol, and just really be obedient because who you're pursuing is someone that you have to be like-minded as well to want that person to be like, oh, I want a good guy, I want a good girl, but you ain't that person.
Right.
So I think it's important for them to understand, like, don't mess up and wait till you get, when I'm 18, when I find the person, then I'll be solid. Like, be solid without. So,
right.
Be single and solid. And that's, I think, what a lot of people struggle with, even not even young, but older people, when they have failed relationships and they're looking for the one. It's like, man, if you hadn't been so dysfunctional in your whole life, you might have been all right with the first wife or second wife or whatever. So just my kind of 2 cents on that.
I think the majority of it is a lot of people can't stand to be alone. Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, cause they don't really know themselves.
Right.
So the moment you learn to be alone, you're able to love yourself and you're able to respect you respect yourself, then
you're not settling for the first thing that comes your way.
Right.
You're not just settling for, well, I get attention from him or her. Let's jump in a relationship and then I could cheat on you the whole time and until I get to the next relationship, and then it's just a course that continues to follow. Then you're like, I want to get married and have kids one day. No, you don't.
So people talk about drugs being addicting, like addicting, and just, you know what I mean, like everything being addicting, and that lifestyle too of like partner, like, you know what I'm saying, like those relationships, those intimate relationships. If you don't fix those at a young age and you bring them into your marriage, you'll never even appreciate the woman you like, a good girl that you have. Because what my downfall was, I was so addicted to that lifestyle of multiple girls, of multiple this, and like it was like normal. Like I was having girls like, yo, you want me and my homegirl?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. So when I get with my wife, I'm still seeking that.
Well, you have to be obedient too. Well, you got to be obedient to one woman.
To one woman. And then I'm like, well, you're boring. Like, you don't want to go party. And like, so a lot of the time, like those early arguments that me and my wife were having, or my girlfriend at the time, like that's not my wife, it wasn't even nothing that she did. It was things that me as a man that I was introduced to that I never took care of at a young age.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with her. Like it was, you know what I mean? It was all me.
So you guys get married. You said 2018, right?
Yeah, well, 2015.
2015, that's when you guys got married. And then how long were you guys married until, you know what I mean, like you had your diagnosis?
Well, I think, but before we jump into that, I think I want to help out with that one. So this is probably 2020. Am I right? Am I doing math right? When we were talking at the gym?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was at the beginning. That's like the beginning. Like, bro, like, I don't even know.
We're at 2020. I'm seeing Game Pass at the gym, and we've always had a good conversation, whether it's about sports or life. And I don't know what it was, but we started talking about relationship. And I think what it is when you can tell someone's not doing things right, and then you can tap into them, you can trust them. Then we started talking, and you were telling me about your marriage and the issues you were having. And it wasn't very like in detail, but I could already tell that there was, chaos going on. I would share some things with you like, yeah, bro, like screw marriage, bro. Like, oh man, it ain't what you make it to be. We're just both venting, kind of trying to figure out a solution, I think was what we were doing. So it was probably like, I don't know, 6 weeks in a row, maybe longer, that we would see each other, tap in, throw a few comments. So I already knew at that point, all right, his relationship, he told me he's moved out. He has like a little game plan. No matter what, I got my boy Game Pass. Whatever he needs, like if he needs me for something, I got his back. I figured he had me. We were good. So that's the moment where I knew you were having issues in your marriage. Can you put us in 2020? Can you start us there and then kind of show us what changed from that?
Yeah, it didn't even start in 2020, man. It's been the whole marriage. Like, it's been the whole marriage. It's just, in 2020, it's kind of like when it really started, where I started saying, like, I just want to be by myself.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, so, it's been the whole marriage. I'm not saying, like, me and my wife didn't have fun together and stuff like that, like, because we have. Like, we've done some great things together, but it's been a lot of dysfunction. and so 2020 is when it starts like, I'm really like, okay,
Like surfacing?
yeah, I'm gonna start working on myself. I'm gonna start like,
Oh, you were,
I'm
bro.
just like, I'm gonna start getting into the gym. I'm gonna start working on myself, like, but not like physically, mentally, not even spiritually, not spiritually yet.
No,
but,
yeah,
but
we were
physically-
talking God, yeah.
yeah, physically, mentally, and just trying to be better for my family, like just on my own, right?
Mhm.
And then so I started doing these things, but like, so now my mindset's shifting, and I'm trying to do something different and be better, but my wife is still looking at me like scum. Like, you know what I'm saying? So my wife don't respect me, my son don't respect me, and it's leading, like, it's just boarding up to from 2020 to now, right? Like, we've had issues, like, I'm gonna go with my mom, I'm gonna do this, I'm
Well,
gonna
it's
do that.
kind of like, bro, I decided to make all these changes, improve my life, and you still think I'm not the man that I'm becoming to be. And I know when I've been in that position, I'm looking for immediate gratification.
It's just like that.
I've been working
Yeah.
out for 2 weeks. Are you ain't proud of me? Like, no, it's cool, but and she would tell me like, let's see if you don't quit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, bet, you know.
See, and I was different. I was more like, I've heard your story, and my story is like, when my wife is like, yeah, okay, and rolls her eyes, I'm like, F you, bro.
I mean, she kind of did me like that too, because it wasn't that she thought I wouldn't do it. It was someone she'd never seen make changes. So to tell her I'm gonna get in shape, stop drinking, do this, she's like, all right, like, I don't know what you're doing it for, but it doesn't sound like. Well, she wanted it. Well, she didn't. She didn't believe in me because I didn't believe in myself.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I'm gonna get in shape, but now my wife's response is like, wife, there you go, like, guys, like,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, you all
Ulterior motive.
all this slick confidence mode, like what? So long story short, so 2020 we started talking, we started talking about it, and yeah, man, I was just leading up to it, like I was just like speaking it into existence, like, you know, man, like I'm gonna be 40 years old coming up, and I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be arguing. I don't want to.
Yeah.
And I give my wife a date. I was like, at 40 years old, if we're still like this, we are not, like, we're done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna go into my 40s.
You gotta enjoy your life, bro.
Like, yeah, like I'm turning 40. I'm not gonna be with you arguing. Like, whether I'm right and you're wrong, or whether you're wrong and I'm right. Like, if nothing changes, like, I'm just not doing this. Like,
Something got to give.
somebody's got to give. But I told I gave her like a date, you know, like at 40 years old, I'm done. But so you fast forward to this year, 2025, I turned 39. And me and my wife were arguing. I just told her, you know what? I'm done. I just turned 39 and we're arguing about the same. I've always told you, like, I'm giving it till I'm 40 and nothing's changed. But that's kind of unfair for her because I never fully changed.
Yeah, you wanted everything out of her, but you didn't do anything to change it at the same time.
So
I've been there.
as a man, like, I'll take that like on the chin, you know, like I'll be like, all right, bro, like I have to take some responsibility here. But when I turned 39, I'm like, all right, I'm about to be 40. I'm about to be 40 in April. And I told her, like, I didn't even think I was going to live to be 40, to be honest.
Well,
like the way my life was.
What did she say when you told her, like, yeah, I'm done, this is it? How did that conversation go in a summary? Did she take you good? Or
So
she think you're BSing?
no, she knew I was serious.
Yeah.
But here's like, you want to hear something crazy? So I tell her, I'm turning 40. I don't want to be with you. I don't want to argue no more. I want to just be happy. 20 minutes later, bro, I get a phone call from my doctor. I got to go to the hospital. She's like, where you going? I go, I got to go to the hospital. My doctor just called me. Don't even trip. I'll be back. I'll pick up my stuff. I'll go to my mom's. Like, I don't need you with me. I'm being petty. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wanted her with me, of course. I want myself.
We're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. I just told you I want a divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, so leave me alone. And I go to the hospital, bro. And my wife's calling me. She's like, where you at? What hospital are you at? And I'm like, don't worry about it. I got this.
Yeah.
She found my location on my phone.
Smart. Women are the smartest.
When my wife walked into the hospital room, right when she walked in, she walked in there like 5 minutes after the doctor comes and goes, hey, Chris, man, it looks like you have cancer.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And the doctor was like, hey, it looks like we found a mass in your leg. Because I had a big old bump on my leg that went, like, prior to, I went for like MRIs and stuff like that. And he goes, that mass, it looks like it's a form of sarcoma type cancer. So he goes, it's a rare cancer. He goes, it attacks either your muscles or your bones. He goes, yours is in your muscle. He goes, these things are pretty aggressive. He goes, it's a rare type of cancer. He goes, so we don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? He goes, but it's a rare type of cancer, and you got to go see. Like, we got to send you to a
When you left,
cancer.
When you got that, I'm sure you turned her, and I'm sure you were mad at her at that moment, but you were not alone. Like, I'm just trying to put myself in your position. Like, you probably just almost fell to your knees and like, thank you for being here. Like,
I mean, I don't even.
Why you want to say crazy?
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it was. I told her, I looked at her and said, I have cancer. I'm going to die. I'm going to die miserable.
Yeah.
That's what I told my wife, bro.
That's just no
bro, like
spirit in you at that time.
Yes, bro.
I think for me, like if a doctor came in and told me that, I would immediately just be like fearful of dying. And just the unknown. Like at that point, probably no relationship, your phone call, your text messages, whatever you're doing at that moment, I bet you the world just stopped for a moment.
Bro, I can't even explain. Like I just sat there and like just like what? Like cause you hear of people, right? You can be and you're like, oh bro,
It can't happen to me.
You're like, bro, you got this, you could do it. Like, you know, but when I get told that and I'm going through everything that I'm going through, like it was just crazy because I'm like, bro, I just asked this girl for a divorce. Literally, I just like that day.
Yeah.
I asked her for a divorce. I found out she found me at the hospital. I found out I have cancer. And I look at my wife and I'm like, I'm going to die miserable. Bro, can you imagine? Like, I can't even imagine. I can't even.
Talk about a bad day.
I don't even know what I would do if my wife said that to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just being 100, you know? Like, I don't even know, like, if my wife asked me for a divorce and then I find her and then she finds out she has cancer, like, would I be strong enough to be like, I got you, babe. Like, I love you. Like,
Well, would you still be selfless enough? She told you, hey, I want a divorce, and then be like, okay, I gotta go to the hospital. Like, would you be selfless enough to go find her? Like, she would, you know what I mean? Like, I'm also.
Or you might be like, you know what? I know I asked for divorce, just got cancer. I might die soon. Let's just ride it out, stay married and fake the funk. Once I die, move on without me. Because I mean, I wouldn't want to be alone. It was already going to be hard without cancer. Now you add cancer on to being a new chapter of your life. Like it could have been easy to be like, just kidding. Like, so let's just ride it out.
Sorry. So this is where my faith, like this is where when I get saved, like it goes back to that time. Remember, I think I told you earlier on in the podcast where I said, God, if you're real, like get my mom out of here.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like all that compiled led to like this moment. I even said things like, I'm not going to live to see 40. Like speaking those things, like
I mean, it wasn't looking good at that point.
You know what I
to
mean?
be honest, it wasn't looking good.
I was kind of wild and tripping. So like, I'm not going to see 40 anyway. And then I tell my wife, like, at 40 years old, like, I'm not doing this no more. You know what I mean? And then, so when I get told I have cancer, life just stops. Life just stopped like that, bro.
That's like the expiration date.
Instantly.
Mention what she told you. Because I remember you told me over the phone, but what did she tell you when you found out you had cancer? And what was her thing?
Her thing was, look, let me be here for you. She goes, and when you pull through this, she goes, if you still want the divorce, we'll talk. And I was like, I didn't even hear her. Like I heard her,
right?
But like at the time, I'm just processing like everything, bro. Like I'm about to die. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I just got a death sentence.
It's just so powerful. So powerful that one, she knows you're going to persevere through it. The fact that she's willing to still stay by your side, regardless of the outcome, like the love, the compassion, the perseverance, that even in the 2 sentences that she said, that right there is like the statement of your life. Like that right there, I'd be like, what am I doing? Like,
so we go home. And that day after they tell me I have cancer, we go home. I'm in the backyard. I'm in my backyard just crying. I'm like, bro, I have this house. Like I can't even, if I can't work, she can't afford this house by herself. Like there's no way. Like we have like a lot of bills, like me and her, right? We have like some nice things. And I'm like, there's no way she could afford this. So long story short, man, I can't tell you. So real quick before we get into that next part, the next day she wakes up, she says, hey, wake up. I was like, what's up? Like, I'm all depressed, right? Trying, but not sleep.
wake up for what?
Yeah, I'm like, wake up. She's like, wake up. I'm like, okay, what? She goes, we're not going to call the doctors. We're not going to email it. We're not sending that to get in. She goes, we're going to get up and we're going to drive to the cancer unit and we're going to drop off those papers. She goes, and we're going to drop off those papers. She goes, and she goes, you're going to be okay. And I was just like, all right. And then instantly, but we were driving. I can't remember like what we were talking about. But we were driving, and I have it all documented because like I put like my phone up on the little tripod just because I started documenting my life now, the end of my life, like what I'm going through, bro, for real.
Well, you want your kids to see it, right?
Exactly. I want kids to see like what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And she got off the car to go put gas, and I don't know why I thought this, but as the minute she got out of the car to go get gas, all I could think about was, is she gonna be okay? Like, is my wife and my kids gonna be
Well, yeah.
okay. Like that was it. At that point, bro, nothing else mattered. So even God, like I still haven't surrendered. I'm still not surrendered to God yet. But God showed me in that moment, like you're trying to leave this, and you're over here worried about it. Like you're saying you want a divorce, but all you can think about right now is like, are they gonna be okay?
Well, he's definitely trying to get your attention, right? And be like, hey, like, so look, you know what I mean? Like, look what you really care for. Like,
Yeah.
look what's really
So
important.
absolutely. So we go to the cancer center, man, and we drop off the paperwork. And my wife was saying, like, I remember my wife said a quick little prayer. She was like, God, she's like, because the cancer center told us it's a wait. Like it's a pretty extensive wait.
You're not going when the guys get.
Yeah,
You know.
like it's a pretty extensive wait, you know. So we drove home. I was driving home. I just remember my wife saying, God, just open up. She's real quick. Open up any door that needs to be open, and let's get this process going. And within a week, within a week, like everything just, hey, okay, we had a cancellation here, we had a cancellation, and things just kind of started. Then we started praying on it. Like when I got saved, we started praying on that stuff. Like God, like.
Well, what made you when and what made you get saved?
So
You don't want to go to hell.
I knew I lived a full life of sin.
Yeah.
For real. I knew I lived, and then I was like, my brother Ricky, he has a ministry in our church, in our barbershop. He has a church in our barbershop and stuff like that. And he's always praying for me and stuff like that. And I just know, like, I was like, man, like I've been playing with God for a long time. Like, oh, God knows. I was one of those Christians. Oh, God, God knows my heart.
Right.
God knows
God knows I've done
God
good.
knows that I love him. God knows I that, right? So I can't tell you when I got diagnosed with cancer. I can't tell you the date that I got diagnosed with cancer because everything was just so crazy.
Sure.
So I couldn't even tell you. It was somewhere between my birthday, which is April 6th, and April 25th. And I know that because April 25th was like my chosen to change moment where I just laid on my bed and I was like, God, like if I'm going to die, like I'm going to serve you with or without cancer. So whatever that looks like, because I was already starting to go to church and I was like starting to read I locked into my Bible. So when I found out I had cancer, I was in the Word, like trying to find comfort. And I truly did. Like I tried smoking weed again. I tried to sleep, and there was nothing could fix or bring me peace but the Bible. So when I really started reading my Word on April 25th, man, I'll never forget it. It was April 25th. Me and my wife, my kids were laying in my bed and we were all crying, mostly me. And I just said, I'm done. Like I'm done. I'm just done. Like I have a good wife. I have a good kids. And April 25th, so God, like, all right, I surrender. Like,
Take over.
There was no altar call.
Yeah.
There was no fancy lights. There was no influencer preacher. Like, you know, it was just me in my bedroom with my family and God. And I just told God, I'm done, and I'm gonna serve you with or without cancer, and whatever that looks like. And
That's awesome.
that was probably like but that was also like, now I'm battling spiritually, right? Because I'm still like, okay, God, I'm trusting you, but then I have questions. I'm like, oh man, like, is it starting to hurt? Like, is it in my lungs? Like, you know what I mean? So, but I just finally when I just really just
That was April of this year.
That was April of this year.
So update us. We're in obviously November. Update us on the cancer. What is the situation now?
The cancer was it was a sarcoma. It was in my leg.
Yep.
It was big, bro. Like the tumor was. I didn't want to say like the size. If I remember my wife correctly, she said that they said it was the size of a grapefruit or something like that, and they had to take out like a big chunk of my leg. So like it was in my leg. So they
Cancer free.
So they think so. I haven't went for the scans, so I can't really say like. But I mean, I am, bro. Like I'm trusting God. Like you know what I'm saying. I don't care what the doctors say, bro. Like God's, you know what I mean. God's good. But it was in the day they cut it out. My son's birthday was June 5th. I had my surgery June 4th, and that was hard because like I'm used to like spoiling my son for his birthday, and bro, now I'm sitting here like with this big old drainage coming out my leg, you know.
Yeah.
So June 5th, I had my surgery. They removed the cancerous tumor. When they get the pathology report, they're like, hey man, like it's a lot more aggressive than what we thought it was. So like, we need to send you for radiation. Because they didn't think I was gonna need radiation. They're just like, we'll just cut it out.
And it'll take care of
It's a low grade type of cancer. But when they got it completely out, and they saw the pathology report, they're like, the biopsy didn't show how aggressive it was. They're like, it's actually a really aggressive type of cancer. So we got to send you for radiation. So now I'm all over again. Like, but now this time I'm in radiation. Like, let's go, bro. Like, God's got me. Like, I ain't,
well, now you have your faith behind you. Your relationship has 360'd.
Night and day, man. No counseling. Like, I mean, like pastors, right? Our pastors,
Like counseling, like
but
that.
yeah, like no, like
Thanks for that.
yeah, no counseling, bro. It's been night and day. Man, I love my wife. It sucks to say, but probably more than I've ever loved her. Like,
It's awesome.
you know what I'm saying? Like
It's just that appreciation.
it's the appreciation, man. Yeah, like even now, like I don't care how, bro. I don't care how sexy you are. I don't care how fine you are. None of that stuff even matters to me no more, bro. Because this is my human that God's put here. Like that's God's put here for. If my wife told me that she wanted a divorce, I would cry, bro, and I would do everything in my power to be like, no, like what are you like? You know, I mean, it was a flip side now. Like now she was like, I want a divorce.
Yeah.
It would,
Good. I'm out
bro,
now.
it would kill me, bro.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, I think the thing behind it is, I mean, she spoke life into you when you couldn't even look past that doctor telling you that. She was already planting those seeds. She was already telling you, hey, we're good. You're going to defeat this.
Oh, for sure.
So I think just to hear those in that moment in time, like you probably were like, yeah, whatever, you know. But to hear those words so early and from a person that meant so much to you, I feel like that, like, I mean, just from me thinking like that probably meant like now it probably means the world to you because you're like, you believed in it before I even could fathom.
No, absolutely, man. And I think, no, I don't think so. I know, like God's, like this has been something like God's not done with me.
Mm.
I truly believe that, which is why I try to tailor my podcast more now from like hype videos and stuff like that to more like just like instilling into some of these kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you don't want them to wait till 39 to figure it out, right? Or for me to be 35 and make all your mistakes and finally be a good man the last 30 years, it's like, I don't want these young people to wait that long to realize you can have a good life your entire life.
Right.
So that's kind of, I guess, the next segment is update us today. Where are you now? Faith, family, life. You've kind of talked about it already, but what would be the message if someone says, I've known Game Pass, you used to do my Yaffle games, I remember you. I don't want anyone to know anything about the past you, but I want them to know you today. What would be your message to the people?
My message to the kids, well, let's just, can I get back into the faith thing real quick? Okay. Just because I feel like it's so crucial.
It's a huge part.
It's so crucial. So when I told you, I told you my grandparents ran a Christian recovery home.
Yeah.
Okay. So when my mom gave me my grandmother's Bible years ago, years ago, it's been thrown in a closet. Like I've never opened it, read it. It's whatever, right? It's been in my closet.
Dust collector.
I've always said I'm not going to live past the age of 40 because of the way my life was going. And then I told my wife, I'm not going to be doing this at 40 no more. Well, it's not a coincidence that at 40 years old, bro, like all this happens. Like I'm turning 39. God's like, you know what? You're not going to be doing this when you're 40. You're either, I feel like God used the cancer. He didn't give me cancer, but I feel like he used it to get my attention in a very surreal way. Like an Apostle Paul type of like, just instantly like, what are you doing? So long story short, I do feel like I have a new life at the age of 39, turning 40 because of I've died to like that old self for all those years.
Salvation has hit you.
Salvation has hit me. And what's crazy is when I got the cancer, I opened up my grandma's Bible and I was going through something. This is where God don't make no mistakes, man. I've never touched my grandma's Bible, never opened up her Bible. Open up her Bible. I am reading the scriptures. Is Numbers chapter 11, like verse 17. And it talks about like raising up in the ministry. And when you raise up in that ministry, like calling on the elders of the church for prayer, like in times of need. I'm reading it and my wife's like, I just opened it. You know what I'm saying? I just need to just open the Bible. My wife's like, why did you write your birthday right there? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, your birthday is written right there. Look. And I opened up the thing and my grandma wrote my birthday on that scripture. So it was 11/6/86 is when she wrote. So I don't know if that's like the day she was studying it. I don't know if she just like went like whatever.
That's crazy.
But I've tried to open that Bible thousands of times again to try to read, like create
the magic.
that page, that scripture, like
That moment.
and I could not do it, bro. Like, so now I started reading my grandma's Bible, and I'm like, man, like my grandma was praying for me, like, cause she has my name written in some of her stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'm like, whoa, like my grandma was in her word.
That's such a blessing. Now to get onto that, my wife had a similar situation where her grandma wrote in her Bible a lot, and she always wanted that when she passed away. And unfortunately, she didn't get the exact Bible. But what we did is we pivoted that, and her and I started. We went and got a Bible, put our names on it, and together we'll highlight verses that we like and just say quick little one-liners like "believe in God." And the reason we do that, so when we pass away, our kids have that Bible like you do for your grandmother, and you can see blue is me, pink is her, and whatever verses or it was on your mind or you were reading. It's almost like they talk about legacy, and legacy is having that Bible with the verses from your mom and dad and saying, this is what they were thinking, this is what they were believing in. And now my kids have that toolbox and they can run with it. So I love it because now, same for you, you guys can have that Bible. You take your notes and you pass that down to your kids, and you just hope that it continues.
Yeah.
Pretty cool tradition that we started, and that you were able to get. Like, I have my first Bible my dad bought me, and in the front page it says, "Son, I love you." You know, it was like a first Holy Communion or something.
Yeah.
There wasn't verses. It was just even that message. I hang on to that Bible as a keepsake to myself. So I know how important that Bible is for you now.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And I started. It's funny because I always say weird things like that's whack. But like I started journaling. That's well, I did just have a journal, and I was through my whole cancer process. I mean, now life is back to normal. I haven't journaled in a bit. But then I started feeling that conviction, like, bro, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you not as desperate as you were? Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think once you're saved, man, I think you can never go back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you won't be the same. Once you're truly saved, you have that conviction, and you'll never truly be the same.
Yeah, now we're not talking halfway in where you go to church and you still do the males. We're talking full-blown, obedient disciple, giving everything you have to the Lord and just knowing that He is in charge of your life.
I've asked weird questions. I think I've messaged you like, yo, fan, like, do you think we could lose our salvation? Like, yeah, we've had some weird, like, it's not weird, but
our conversations have changed from us griping about relationship and football talks to now opinion on salvation, because everyone has their opinion on multiple things. But yeah, you did, and I gave you, I don't remember, you asked me, right? And what did I say? I said yes.
Yeah, you said yes. You said well, I think it came over the thing where you're saying like if you sin bad enough, you want to get rebaptized.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, I don't think you have to though.
And I don't think you have to, right, to touch base on that. But I think that some people mistake, like, well, I've already been baptized, I'm good. Right. But the person that baptized at that point versus the person they are now, there's some sin in between and conviction in there that I think that it's a symbolization of, okay, like I get it. I can't mess up baptized. Right. But at this point in my life, I want to wash away my sins and I want to move forward versus having the arrogance of like, well, I was baptized as a 2-year-old, so I'm good. To me, that shows a lot of pride.
I think like when you make that decision as like an adult, like you know what you're doing. And I feel like that's it, right? Because you get baptized as a kid, you have no idea what you're going because your parents made you go.
I got baptized 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
And that was probably my biggest thing that I struggled. Like, I mean, it was something that called me probably 6 months ago, but I struggled with it, right? Because I was like, well, I was baptized as a kid. Like in the Bible, it says one baptism. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, finally, they did an altar call, and like I just looked at my wife and I was like, let's go. I didn't give her a chance to even say nothing. I just grabbed her hand and I left, right? Or we went down. And then after, I called my dad, and my dad was kind of like, well, why? You were baptized as a kid. But for once, I was like, well, this is for me. Like, right. This is the same thing to you. Like, this is what I want to do. Yeah. I'm just sharing.
Yeah, you had me get baptized now. Yeah. I don't want to condemn that decision.
And I had to let him know, like, not that me getting baptized at 3 or whatever, 9 months old, like, not that that was out of ill will. Like, it was out of with great intentions, but that wasn't my choice. That wasn't my choice to walk with God at that moment in time. Right. Like, this is how I'm doing it. But not only am I doing it for me, I'm doing it for my wife. I'm doing it for my kids. Yep. So that way my kids see me leading by example. And now, what's crazy? All my kids want to get baptized.
It's what you said, but like Jesus led by example, because like, well, you talk about the Holy when he got baptized. Right. So why should you? Right. Yeah. So if the Messiah is getting baptized,
and he's not even sinning,
who are we? And here we and that's kind of what being saved, right? Is I look at I try to be like one of those like everything spiritual, like but everything really is spiritual, like when you are saved, because you have two ways to look at it. You can look at things the worldly way, or the spiritual realm, and which way you're gonna go. You know what I mean? So when I say things like, I'm not gonna live till I'm 40. Well, okay, God said like, yeah, you're sure, bro. Yeah, you're not, because we're gonna kill off your old you, and you're gonna be in
That's a fact.
like, you know. So
your whole life has been true, that you knew that you were going to die at 40 to be baptized and have that spirit reborn and continue to live the rest of your life.
I didn't know it.
You did. Sorry, I meant to say God knew it.
Yeah.
God knew that what you were saying was right, but what you didn't know is exactly it wasn't. You weren't going to really die.
Well, when I had the cancer, man, when I got the cancer, I had a friend say, bro, this is why you got to live your best life and do you. And then I had a handful of friends that were like, fam, like, see God, like, see, you got to see God. And I feel like I had a crossroad. I could be healed of cancer and still do me.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
And probably get through it, right?
Get through it and be cool.
Yeah.
But I chose the route that very few people choose. And it was just like surrender.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna just surrender. Like, I had this path. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's this way, this way. And I chose God. Man.
I think for me, as proud as I am, knowing that you've gone through the cancer and you've conquered it, like, that's really cool. Like, obviously you being alive, and that was cool. But seeing your transformation of you with God, that has just, I've gained so much more respect for the man you are, the husband you are, the father you are. And I've just loved seeing that journey more than seeing the cancer side of how you've overcome it. I knew you were going to go over that. Like, you're a winner, you're a competitive person, but seeing you change your life around in faith has been like such an uplifting thing for other men like me and like Josh, where we can look at your situation and be like, see, bro, like, it's possible for anyone to get saved.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that you've done that, you know?
I also want to touch on, like, not like how you said everything doesn't seem to be like spiritual, but it's crazy. Like, now that I've been in church for a year, like, you don't realize how much you really like you live within the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, that you don't hear it. Like, it's
right.
You everything around you. You know what I mean? Like, you live within the Bible, and I think that's why I like our church so much, is because they actually break down the Bible, and he actually tells you, hey, this is what you're doing every day. You just don't know it. Like, this is how you're living. You know?
I like the church. Like what do you guys call? Sagebrush.
Mm.
I've never been to Sagebrush, but I've heard some good things about it. But like, I was born in the VO, but like my particular pastor, he doesn't tell you what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's not gonna sit there and be like, oh, hey man, like, as long as you be a good person, and then like, he's like, not like biblically, like, this is what it says. And that's what I try to do now. Okay, like, when someone gives me something, well, you know, okay, well, can you show me biblically where it says that? Like, can you show me like where God says, I have, let's just use tithing for a reason, right? Can you show me where it says like mandatory tithing and whatever, like, biblically, like, where does it say, and what's the context of it? So that's where I refer to now everything. I'm like, biblically, what is it? What does it mean?
I think when it comes to churching and pastoring, everyone has their own opinion on who they like, but a lot of it is because how they receive information. Like, are you a tough love person? Are you an emotional person? And I think that's what translates better, and that's always better that way. Hey, real quick, where are you at on time?
We're a little over an hour.
Okay, get your phone out, unless you have it memorized, but we'll go into the last part of the scripture. We'll let him read two of his favorites, and then we'll hit an outro, and it's a wrap.
All right, man.
Find two that you want to touch on.
I know you said Matthew.
My scripture?
Yeah, so what you'll do is we'll start it. You'll read the scripture and then just give a brief, like, this, I love this one because of this, and then I have one more I want to share with you. So Josh, intro him into the scripture side, and then we'll let him go for two.
All right. Well, next, we'll get into the next segment. You know, I know you have a couple of scriptures we talked about previously before. You want to share those and just kind of explain, you know, why those are your scriptures?
Yeah, man. So Matthew was probably one of my favorite disciples in the Bible. I love how Matthew just dropped everything. Like, he had all the riches, he had money and protection. Wow, he had everything you need, like that we need in society today. Matthew had all that, and he dropped all that to follow Jesus. So he's one of my favorite disciples. And right here in Matthew 6:34 is one of my favorite scriptures. It says, "Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has its own trouble." Its own trouble. And that really stuck out to me because dealing with the cancer, like, I I am not in control of that at all. Like no matter how much worrying and you know what I mean, I could sit here and worry day in, day out, and nothing's gonna change the outcome of what God already has planned for me.
I take one day at a time, right? That's important. You said that.
Take one day at a time.
One day or flip it up.
The days I could go to work, go to work. The days I have to rest, and God would just take care of the rest, you know. So
Love it.
when I tell kids, now, like you asked earlier, real quick, I know we're short on time, but when you said tell some the kids like who you are now,
Yeah.
I was a cool guy, man, just doing some dope hype videos and seeking validation all the time because I like that, like validation of your videos are sick, and that was me at one point, but now I'm a true man of God, and I like to openly say that, so that way I hold myself accountable when it comes to how I carry myself out in these, you know what I mean, out on these streets. So that's who Game Pass Media is now, man. I'm a man of God. I'm a believer. I'm a family man, and I want to see all the youth and the kids win. And like Matthew, like it says in Matthew, don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow brings its own worries. Just live life, have fun, seek God first, and then everything else will fall into place.
I love it. You have one more?
I have one more, man, and it's actually probably one of the scariest. People will say it's one of the scariest verses in the Bible. And it's Matthew 7, 21 to 23. And it says, not everyone who calls on me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. Only those who actually do the will of my Father in heaven will enter. On judgment day, many will come to me and say, Lord, Lord, we prophesied in your name, we cast out demons in your name, and performed many miracles in your name. But I will reply, depart from me, for I never knew you. Get away from me. You've broken God's law.
I've heard that a few times.
And people say that that's the scariest verse in the Bible, like the scariest section in the Bible. But I look at it differently. I look at it like, you can't work your way to heaven. So you can sit there and call yourself a Christian. I'm a Christian, but behind closed doors, you're cheating on your wife.
Right.
You're gossiping. You're bringing people down. You're not. To me, that just means just show love the way. Like first and foremost, you acknowledge Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Like that's first and foremost. Like you acknowledge that like Jesus is your Lord and Savior, right? And then you just live every day, man. You just die to the flesh because you gotta die to the flesh every day. And we're imperfect people, but if you just try to live the best of your ability,
right,
to God's law or to God's word, you'll be okay because that's true love.
Yeah, we know we're gonna
love somebody. If you love somebody, you're gonna do.
Right.
But they ask, so it's just simple. Like, just try to honor God in everything that you do.
Well, I think we know we're all going to sin, but those sins can be something as simple as I said, one bad word today, but the sins that people do, they extreme everything. And they're like, it's all good. God's got me. I'm going to heaven. No, like
that's not how it works.
There's no repenting in those sins.
Yeah.
We're talking about small sins and,
conviction.
No conviction behind this. You have to change.
Everything comes down to, I feel like everything comes. So I feel like the Bible is not just like, I feel like the whole Bible is a commandment. Like God's not saying, like Jesus is not saying like, and if you fast. He says like, and when you fast.
Right.
Like those are not suggestions that he's, you know what I'm saying?
It's instructions.
It's what to do. And yeah, man. So that's probably one of my two favorite verses. A lot of people are scared of that second one, but it's
no. I've read that one a few times, and I think that it's important to know. He says you didn't love me, like Then there's two places. There's a heaven. There's a hell for a reason, and the non-believers, the ones that don't practice, unfortunately, they will go to hell, and it's some rough to talk about, and it's not. We all wanted to say we're all going to heaven. It's not the case, so.
Yeah, I've had people ask me like, hey, you think I'm going to hell? And I'm like, bro, like, I'm not the judge. I can't. Bro, I can't. Like,
I'm just trying to get myself in,
you have to ask yourself, are you going to, like, you're probably not doing something. Yeah, and you know some convictions there. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. That's what I was thinking. That's what I was about to say. Like, I think if it's scary for those who know that they're not living right. You know what I mean?
Faith is everything. If you look at the Bible, faith to me is everything because a lot of people were healed just based off of pure faith. Like the woman with the blood issue, if she could just touch the garment of you, like, you know what I mean? The Roman officer whose son was sick and came to Jesus, and Jesus like, well, take me to him. He's like, no, like you could just say the word, and he'll be healed. But there's one scripture, I can't remember where it's in the Bible. Jesus does his miracle. I think he heals the blind man, and he says, go and sin no more, for it could be worse. when I read that script, I'm like, bro, what does that mean? Because for the first time, like, he's not being like he's loving, but he's telling you like it could be worse. You know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you right now, like, go and sin no more, for it could be worse. I'm like, what? Like, that's crazy.
No, that's
Like,
crazy.
You know what I mean?
You want to hit?
Well, brother, I appreciate your conversation today. It was amazing to hear your story, just where you come from, and I mean, just how much your life has changed, and just that timeline you've always put. You know, I don't think it was on accident. I think it was just something that's always been built inside of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You probably knew it subconsciously. So thank you for sharing your story with us today. And you got any last message?
I mean, yeah. Well, for me, I want to say thank you. It's always been cool to know you. You've always been a great person. But now it's a blessing, and I'm blessed to say we have a friendship that is farther more than what it started to be. And I'm thankful for you, thankful that you've conquered a lot of demons in your life. And I just love seeing what you've done. So please keep it up, keep up the influence. I'll definitely be watching, and I know a lot of people will too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You guys want to tell everybody, like I said, man, my name is Chris. I go by Game Pass Media. I'm a husband, a father, a man of God. And yeah, I got the podcast going, and I just want to see everybody win, succeed, and incorporate God in everything you do first, and everything else will land the way it lands and the way it's meant to be.
Perfect.
So thank you. That's it. Remember, we are chosen for change. So are you. Have a great day.